Today's going to be a good day because we're going to get some LEDs up and some coving up, and I feel like the room is starting to change. So I've done a few little prep bits while I've been away on the camera. We've primed this, ready for it to be painted the same as the walls. I've been and put this piece of wood all the way around the top, and what that does is allows me to stick the coving onto it, so it's a nice little marker as such, so I ain't got to eyeball it, because I want to keep a nice 2 centimetre gap all the way around for the LEDs to be stuck to. So I can glue from the back, glue a little bit here, and that should be more than enough to pin it in. I can put a couple of nails, but it's polystyrene, it's not going to need much. And I'm just going around there and installing some of this, like, I think it's foam board, it's used for crafting, but it's just to bridge the gap. So I've got something for the LEDs to actually stick to. We've got the little hole in the top. So what we need to do now is get the power cable wired into this box, which means we need to make a hole down there to wire it up to the mains, and then start threading some LEDs in. Alright, I got those buggers wired in. I didn't film it. It's very annoying to try and wire something up in the ceiling and then, yeah. Anyway, annoying job. But the only way to get this to work now is in this corner. Then pop you inside your little tripod, point you down somewhere. Here, there should be power cables. So, stud is there, skirting's going there. Let's say about that should do us. We need to do it the other way, you silly plonker. And if we put this here, this should be around where we're going to put some foliage, a nice plant. So then this should be hidden as well. Right, so that is going to the ceiling. So that means there is another one somewhere. Right beside it. Lovely. So to make my life easier, I'm going to introduce one extra cable, tie it all in with one of these. That will be the ring, that will go off on a spur, and this will come off on a spur, which will just be a plug socket that's going to go there. It won't have much but apart from a fancy light, and then that will do the fancy lights up there. So we got her in, and the most important thing is we have a flashing light, which means power. So let's get these LEDs up at last. Right, so I've gone for this brand Muros, if that's how you say it. The mid-range, I've had super cheap LEDs in the past and they've been okay for its purpose. We've also got some Philips Hue lights in the house, which kick great light out but are super expensive. I've also just tried the nano strips. They bang out pretty much as good as Hue at £20 cheaper. So if you're ever thinking about getting a Hue, think about Nanoleaf. But nonetheless, we've gone mid-range. So I've tried these. I did try the Gove that kicks around quite a lot on Amazon. They're okay. They're all right at colour, but not so great at white. Whereas these are bad at white. They're not great. And if I would have just bought white lights, it would have been better. And I think I'm going to mainly be using white. but I also want the wiggle room to introduce colours, and I don't know how it's going to play on my face on the stream, so it's one of the things I've got to put it up and see if it's any good. But yeah, from the little tests that I've done with these, they also come with like a silicone jacket wrapped around them as well. So they do seem good, and the other tick in the box for me was it's Apple HomeKit. I like to run everything through the Apple's schedules or whatever they're called. I can't remember what they're actually called now, but I like to tinker under the hood with things, and I understand that Android has an option of it, but I'm in the Apple ecosystem, so I just want to make sure they was Apple friendly. I've tried them already and they connected straight away, no issue. So I was like, right, if I can control it with the Apple, along with the hues, along with the nano lights, and all of that can be controlled with a hue switch, and that's about 17 quid. Should only work for hues, but if you add it into Apple, then you can control any Apple device, including radiators, with a light switch. So all of this is going to be set up on that. So we're going to chuck this up, and fingers crossed, it's going to provide enough light for the room instead of having a big light. And no, I'm not going for an Amsterdam kind of red light district feel. I just want any old colour on, so as I'm wiring it up, I know if I accidentally bend it and cause a problem or something. So I'd rather keep the lights on as I'm gluing them down. But I'm very glad I painted the back of this wall, because this is sticking to it lovely now. I'll tell you one thing, I've noticed that I have got no upper strength. I can lift stuff up, but to keep my arms above my head for a length of time, if it's screwing or painting or whatever it is, I just ain't got it. Props to the plasterers that do ceilings, that's all I'm saying. Well, Ray, get you a wink then, didn't I? Right, so I'm going to add this straight into Apple Home instead of using their actual official app, because I found it was much happier. It was better to control it through Apple, because you actually got the temperature of white light versus the official app that just gave you colours. Probably because everybody wants to mess with colours, but in the mornings I like to have a mess about with the temperature more than I do colours. Office! Right, I'll rename it. Right, she's in and very responsive. You can't moan about that. Let's get purple in the mix. It's very hard to do this with one hand. Oh, I cannot wait for night time. I need to know how good this is at night. That's pretty responsive. No, I'm happy with that. And now let's do it all again. So they're now all in, and we need to get the coving up before the sun sets. So it's night time, the moment of truth, Does it kick out enough light? And the answer is yes. It really does kick out enough light in here. So let me just switch it around. So yes, this is what we're being illuminated with. And this is where don't worry about these gaps. Mr. Cork will fix them. But this is where I should tell you, I am super, super happy. But you might be able to tell with the tone of my voice, I am so angry. So angry. Can't put it into words. Joe's just made brownies and I should be happy. I'm like, yay, brownies. And she's just like, do you want one? I was like, no, I'm just depressed. So let me explain why I'm upset. So from down here, it's looking pretty damn sweet. But as you start to stand up, you can see the LEDs. Now, to you on camera, you ain't going to be able to see it as much as I can see it. Let's see if I can just bring the temperature. There we go. Right, so we brought that down a little bit. So this is nice. This is giving a nice little glow warmth over it. And that's giving us LED. But obviously, when you get closer to it, the LEDs start to disappear and we get this nice glow. Don't worry about the actual coving glowing. Once it's painted, it shan't be a problem. So this is what I wanted this. But from certain viewing angles, like over here, you can start to see the LEDs and it's bugging the piss out of me. But I've realised if I put the LEDs on the back of the coving, it then could bounce and then come over. So I've just tested this. So let me just turn off what we've got. So that's now off. And I've just got a cheap strip I've just wired up. Now, that to me is much better. Again, this is something that you probably can't really tell on camera. Yes, there's a couple of little LEDs here. That's because it's not properly glued. But from a distance, that just looks so much better than that. Do you know what I mean? Seeing the LEDs, seeing that. So, if I would have known this was going to be an issue, the trouble is, from this angle, again, it's very hard to see on camera and you might think I'm being really pickety, but in person, it's very, very visible. But yeah, I've just put the coving up, obviously, and I've glued it in place and nailed it in place, and she's stuck. So I'm going to have to pull off all the LEDs, and I know straight away it's going to pull the paint off. This side, not so much, because this is the original wall, but these freshly plastered walls, you put paint on it, and you pull paint will just go, yep, I'll come off this wall. So that means then all the LED strips are going to be stuck with paint on the back of them. I don't know if I'll keep it there or if I have to fetch it all off. And then I'm going to have to get some form of double-sided sticky tape and then climb up on here and in the little gap, get my fingers round, put the tape all the way down the back of here and then get the LEDs and thread them down the back of here. That means I'm going to be swearing a lot, and I'm probably not going to film it. But yeah, overall though, I like it. Like just what it looks like with this COVID. In the day, it looks amazing. I can't show you what it looks like now because obviously it's nighttime. But in the day, when you turn it off and you've just got that little gap, it looks great. And like how the ceiling's now been divided into two areas with this beam. This beam actually feels like a part of the room now and not just this chunk of wood that I've thrown up there. I'm really, really pleased with it. And that is one of the reasons I've got to fix it. Because I've spent this time and effort moving the radiators, plastering the walls, fighting with this beam for 3 days to get it all perfect. If I just go, it will do, and just leave it, I'm gonna regret it. I'm really gonna regret it. So I'm gonna hit the sauce, mate. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have a big fat drink and come back to this tomorrow. I am not having a good time. Oh, it's got to be done though, hasn't it? So yes, it's pulled the paint away, so I'm gonna have to go around and clean that up. But I've managed to get 1 of 4 strips done, and it is much better. Here we are in the day, and already you can see a difference. So at night time, I've edited this video back and I looked at it and you couldn't see it as much as I could, but the point is, like, granted, no one's this tall, but even from down here, you see what I'm saying? That of bulbs, and this is a wow of bulbs. So it's worth doing it, but man, have we got next to no space. I'm having to get the double-sided sticky tape down the back first. That's the hard bit. Then getting the LEDs down it. So I have to run around and clean up all of this, but they're in there. What happens if we stick in here? Does that look good? I can't see. You tell me. Answers in the comments. So I'm getting there. I've got a little technique of how to actually do it. It's the cable on my head. But yeah, this side's completely done. This side isn't, and you can just see the difference now. That's so much. It's just a glow versus what looks like the insides of a limo. You know when the limo ceilings used to have that? I don't know if you was in many limos. I was. You're not. No, I've been in one. But yeah, I've just got to sort the paint out. I don't know if you can really see it. Yeah, a little bit across the top, but that's not a big job. Oh, we did it. We now have them glowing without doing the beep, 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 beep all the way across. So cost me an extra day. Well, it's not really a day. It didn't cost me a day. I just was so annoyed. I was like, I'm only going to do one thing today, and it's correct this. So that is done, and now we're going to prep the room tomorrow, ready to get some paint on it on the following day. But I'm happy. The LEDs, the ones that I've shown you, I don't rate them. The white, as you can see, is good. It's good enough to illuminate me. But one set's slightly different to the other. And I'm having to chase the white in the colour settings. And if I pair them together, then control the colours, one of them's drastically out than the other. So I've tweaked it. I've got it to where it is. But I wouldn't necessarily rate them. But they're up. It cost me 60 quid or whatever it is. The alternative is to go with nano, which is going to cost me about 240 to do that. I am contemplating doing it, not anytime soon, and not on my dime neither. So this is going to be absolutely perfect. As you can see, it does a good job. But come Christmas, if there's nothing that I particularly want, I might ask for people to buy parts of the LED kits, and then I'll piece it all together and replace them. After replacing it today, it's a pain, but it's doable. You know what I mean? And I've given myself some room in there. I've tarted that up. So it's now all clean inside of here now, and I can just press these buttons at the back if I need to reset them or rescan them. So they're nicely hidden away. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave this video. Sorry this video has been quite heavy with the talking and no montage of music. The license ran out. To be fair, I'm going to buy a new one anyway because it's only £10 for a month. The rate I'm going, I'm getting about 150 a pop in ad revenue. So that's 4 videos. 6 quid, we're nearly there. But no, I'll buy one because I just think the videos are generally much better with music, and more than anything, when I look back on them in 2 years, I'll be like, oh man, that's pretty cool, because it's a cool thing to actually vlog and film the DIY videos, because you get so used to being in the room and you're just like, this room's cool. But then to look back at what it was, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. And I've done that a few times on this channel. When we first moved in here, I've looked at Jess's room, like, oh, I can't believe that used to be the games room. So the cool little time capsule. So I'll definitely get some more music. So fingers crossed, next video is going to be a bit more action-packed. And also I've got a little gizmo that should be able to slowly pan around the room when I'm doing time lapses. So provided I can understand how to actually use that device, we should be able to spice up a couple of the camera shots as well. So I hope you enjoy these videos, and I shall catch you on the next one. You're a long way away for a headbutt. Let me see if I can get you. Oh, no, I didn't blow the wall.